Hey, what's up guys? Shadow Steel here. Welcome back to Wonders of Sodor. This is episode 6 at this point of the series. And yeah, we're at a point now where we're kind of going into we're basically still continuing. We're kind of running out of older stories to retell. I mean, and the story today we're gonna go through is Jack Frost, which is actually an older season episode. So let's get started with that.
Jack Frost. One evening, Sir Topham Hatt came to the sheds. "There's a big freeze coming tonight," he said. "James and Percy, I need you to deliver extra coal to the station." "Yes, sir," they said eagerly, and Sir Topham Hatt walked away. "You better hurry," teased Thomas, "or scary Jack Frost might get you." "Who's Jack Frost?" Percy said nervously. "Don't be silly," sniffed James. "Jack Frost is not scary." "Yes, he is," teased Thomas. "He's all white with a big spiky face." "Rubbish," said James. James knew Jack Frost wasn't scary, but poor Percy wasn't so sure.
I don't know why Sir Topham Hatt is blurry in these cutscenes. Honestly, it's very disappointing. I think they tried to fix that a few times.
Later that night,
That's so bright.
James had collected his coal trucks and set off to make his deliveries. "Silly Percy," he thought. "All steamed up over Jack Frost. The sooner we get this coal delivered, the sooner I can get back to my nice warm shed."
I mean, you have a warm boiler. All right, here we go. Oh, cool. This is lit up. I guess that's supposed to be done. These are Great Britain anyway. All right. So let me make sure we're lined out. Okay, there's us. And it looks like... I didn't know there's a second line out there. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. Well, I mean, I never noticed it before. I've probably seen it. I just never noticed it. All right, let's go. Alright. So, a few things have happened since the release of the last video, not the least of which was the trailer for the new Thomas series coming out the same day I ended up releasing the video. And this video is going to be posted the day after the Dovetail Direct, so as I'm recording this is Friday, the Friday before the Dovetail Direct. And in all seriousness, I was a bit surprised to see what? No brake van. Okay, well, the game has some issues, honestly, with realism, but oh well, it's fine. But I found it very surprising that the day I mean, granted, that video has been doing pretty well. I checked it earlier today, as of Friday, and it's actually got 80 views on it as of right now. And since then, it's probably, as of this video's release, I'm pretty sure it's gonna have a lot more to it as time goes on. I got 50 coming up here. I also noticed that during the recording, like during the footage, that it was absurdly like I moved my mouse so much in that video. It's like absurd. So I'm gonna try and not do that as much. In fact, I'm actually have the mouse cursor up on screen, or actually on the thing, so we don't have it spinning around repeatedly. But yeah, it looks like, from what I've seen of the trailer. I've actually watched the trailer for the new Thomas series, and from what I've watched, is that a 15 coming up there? Yeah, it looks like it. They are... It's a little bit better off than what we had before with All Engines Go. It's not 100% what it's... I have some doubts of it, but not very many. Not as bad. Again, it's not going to be as bad as All Engines Go, because, like I said, it was a... All Engines Go was a very, very poor reboot, if you will, in terms of like how it was done and whatnot. So it was kind of like I don't like. It's a bit surprising, but at the same time, like I'm gonna be curious about what they do with the series going forward. Because it looks like what they're doing with this series is that they're going to stick with the child-friendly, sort of like, not entirely talking down to children, but in a way, basically saying like, yeah, we know we're going towards children, we're not talking to children, this is a children's show, more or less. But it looks like what they're doing is more closely kind of the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic route, which, yes, I did watch that when I was in middle school when it came out. It's actually a legit series, a legit decent series. Yes, so in a sense I am kind of a My Little Pony fan, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic fan. I didn't get too deep into the series. I think I've just watched the first 3 seasons, so I'm not like fully I don't know what happened, so I'm not like, I think I like the first 4 seasons. I watched the first 4 seasons, but with Thomas, after like years ago, like when I eventually did get around to watching the first 7 seasons of the show, and with Thomas, and even going so far. Is that a 50? That's a 50 coming up there. I gotta slow down. So I got around to watching the later series, and I even watched a little bit of the CGI series. So I at least have some knowledge about what happened with, oh, stop. Oh, 9, okay. Okay, we got another stop coming up here. Oh, I'm wondering if we're stopping at all stations for this. Okay, cool. But it was one of those situations where I did understand what they did with the CGI series. I was one of those people when I first heard about the whole thing, that I was very upset over the idea of like, oh, they're getting rid of the marbles? What the hell's wrong with them? But looking back on it now, they did things with the CGI series that they could not have ever done with the model series. And that's kind of that was kind of one of those things, like, from my point of for the most part, it's we were lucky with that series, because we got characters that they would have never made in the CGI in the model series. So, okay, we got another signal, another red block coming up here. I'm going to slow down before we get to it. Looks like we actually have a stop coming up here at the next station here. But it was a, again, it just, for example, Hank, one of the locomotives that appears in the model series, he's like the first American steam locomotive to be introduced in the model series, or in the Thomas series, technically. Because there was a bit of an argument on, I kind of got into a bit of a debate on the Dovetail Discords of all places, over what was the first American locomotive to be. I'm gonna stop here because I don't know if that signal's gonna change for us. We're gonna ease ourselves up to the signal because it looks like something. Sure, we're getting close. I assume this is the signal before the station, but I'm not sure why it's not setting for us. Odd. We're still like less than 200 feet from it. Come on. It's still not set. That's weird. Stop. Oh, now. Really? My God. That's the only issue I have with this. Like, that's one of the few issues I have. Oh. The speed. 15 miles an hour. No wonder I'm... like, no wonder they have me abruptly stopping. Jesus. Wait. Oh, okay. I see where we're going. We're going on the... Oh, we've never gone down this line before. Huh. We're going down new trackage, boys. We just passed through Henry's Tunnel, too. If you haven't guessed. Alright, let's go. We're on a branch line here, boys. Well, one of the branch lines. But yeah, the, like, Hank was introduced in season 12 of the model series, and he was a Pennsylvania K4. However, he was planned to be a Union Pacific Challenger class, a 4664. And Lord knows that didn't go. They couldn't do that with the Gauge 1 models. And if you don't know what Gauge 1, how big Gauge 1 is, here's take a G gauge model, so a Garden Railroad scale. So the G scale, like your old school LGB, like basically those older models. In fact, a lot of the models I believe that were used in the model series were actually old LGB models, of various combination of models there, and because they like a lot of like the set dressing and stuff were like old German locomotives that were like stripped apart and everything. Markland was the main, like, was kind of one of the main providers of a lot of the chassis and everything. But interestingly enough, if you take a Garden Railroad scale locomotive, so G gauge as we call it in the States, but I'm sure it's got a different name outside of that. But it's a G, it's a very big, it's designed to run outdoors. I'm running a little slow here. It's designed to run outdoors. It's hence why it's often referred to as garden scale or G gauge for us, or at least for me. Take that in your hands and then just imagine it just a tad bigger. Because 1 gauge is designed to be more in line with the current, more in line with the almost one-to-one, like almost scale accurate type trains. Okay, we got another signal, another stop signal coming up here. That was a distance signal sending the red. All right, slow her down. Oh yeah, we're coming into the side here. Ah! Alright, slow down. We're at 16. Alright, coming into the station. Alright! Made it! I get up to the station stop here. If I can. This is the tricky bit, is like trying to get to a stop here. Without overrunning. Well, we can go a little further up. Alright, there should do it. Boop.
We've reached our first stop. Let's drop off some of the coal trucks.
Oh! Okay. Or drop off this car. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna set some brakes before we do that, because I don't want these things rolling away. Alright, brakes. Brakes. Where are they? I have to go down here, don't I? Yeah, I do. Brakes. Brakes. Aha. Brakes off. Brakes on. We'll do both of them. Why not? Was it this one? Yeah, this one. Brakes on. We're in a couple of this car. Boop. Climb up. Back in the cab.
That's one delivery complete. So let's head to our next stop.
Yep. Back in the cab. Let's go. Goodbye. All right, let's go. I got the clears. All right. But yeah, the 1-gauge models were pretty big. In fact, if you actually watch videos of the making of Thomas the Tank Engine, especially during the model series, you'll actually note how big the models are in the people's hand, in many of those creators' hands. Oh, we're gonna slow down a little bit. Whoa, Jesus! What the hell was that switch? Okay, next signal. Oh, we're gonna go in 2 miles there, boy. All right. So it is kind of interesting to think that there were bigger plans for the model series, but they couldn't do that with the models. So effectively, when they went to CGI, they had a lot of things they could do with these locomotives that they couldn't do before with models, and that was kind of the limitations of the models. Oh, wait, the bridge. What the hell? I'm gonna take a photo right here on the bridge. This is a cool little bridge. Ooh, oh, it's a viaduct of some kind. Okay, cool. Right out there should do it. I'm gonna try and take a screenshot of this here. This is gonna be interesting. Heh! That's actually pretty cool. Field of view. As always, guys, always doing the field of view. Okay, there we go. 1A. Not great. At least not from this angle. Hang on. Ah! I guess zoom in or zoom out a little bit so we can get the. I guess 30 will do it. I can't go really far out, so. Okay, well, that'll do. Boop, boop. Alright, we got something. That's not too bad. Try and get another angle. I'm pretty sure that we're gonna need to do. I have a plan for the screenshot, so the thumbnail. Oh, 25. I figured as much. What the? Okay. How do I get back to 26? There you go. Got it. Okay. Up to the bridge here. I got oh, actually, you know what? The railhead on the shot. Okay, screenshot and thumbnail. Well, why not? Woohoo! Coming up to our next waypoint. Yeah, I do appreciate. Looking back on it now, like I do appreciate what they did with the CGI series. At least in terms of the concepts and everything. But my lord, there were some very bad story beats even in the CGI series, which was hilarious now. We've already been recording for 20 minutes. That's not too bad. These scenarios don't take long, so I don't think we'll see... I don't think we're going to be much longer with this scenario. These scenarios usually run about 30 minutes or so, so... In fact, we have a 15 limit coming up right again. We got another red block up ahead, too. Okay. Croven's Gate. I know where that's at. Ah, I know exactly. Okay. Yeah, okay. I know where we're at. We're at the connection between us and the Skarloey Railway. So, Croven's Gate is a very interesting little spot because it's the connection point between the narrow gauge railroad and the mainline railroad. And this is actually the spot where you'll see many of the Skarloey engines, the narrow gauge engines, and the big engines like Henry and Gordon suddenly come up and talk with each other. In fact, I believe there's a spot on this area where you'll actually note the shed that the narrow gauge engines, ironically, I believe it was introduced in like the later seasons actually. Because I know that the first couple of seasons, oh, that is the signal. That is our stop right there. Huh, interesting. The narrow gauge engines are actually like I think actually we should be right next to it. No, not yet. Not yet, but we're close. So we got this over here. We're kind of running slow, but it's a scenario, and you never get any, and you don't get negative points really in this, so I'm not too worried about it. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, looks like we got a 50 coming up here. 50, and we've got a bunch of signals. I do like the weather out here. The weather's nice. That's a good thing. Having a nighttime run in the snow is actually kind of cool. Pun intended. Is that? No. I don't know where it would be. There's supposedly a little... Oh! Speak of the devil. This is it. So, actually, we're gonna... So that's the shed where the narrow gauge engine sits. In fact, the narrow gauge rails and everything are just sitting there, which is actually pretty cool, honestly. The fact that they got that modeled, that's the later season version of the sheds where they stay. Because starting in season 4, they had a completely different location. And then I think it was it's after season 7 that we started seeing them in a very different location. So, all right, we're gonna stop here at the station. Stop. And I believe we're dropping off another 2 coal cars. Should be in trouble here. Ease her down. Alright, stop.
Is our next station? Let's drop off some more coal.
How many are we dropping off? Oh. 1, 2, 3. So they say... So technically, we're only supposed to have brakes on 1/3 of the consist. Or is it 1/3 or 2/3? I don't know. I'm just breaking them all. Why not? They're unfitted stock. They don't have any brakes. Aside from these, so... Is it this one? Yes. All right, let's go. A couple of cars. Clink. And we've got... I think we've only got 3 left.
All this coal is enough to keep the passengers nice and warm during this cold weather. I'm just glad that I have my firebox to keep me from getting too cold.
Hit. All right, next step is in almost 3 miles. Okay, cool. So, all right, guys, we are getting on. Oh, we got to transfer over to the next line, it looks like. Do we? Yes, we do. We have transfer. We're transferring over to main 1 or main 2 technically. And then it looks like we only have 3 coal hoppers behind us, or coal cars behind us. So it'll be interesting. The nighttime runs, like especially this kind of run, this gives you off very cool vibes. Again, pun intended. We got another red block just up ahead. 3. You should be okay. Okay, let's get moving. Slow down. We got another 6. Oh, well, we got to clear now. Kelsdorf. Kelsdorf is the next one. Cool. Alright, we're zooming. You get zooming. Could blow the whistle. That's fine. But yeah, I will be interested in seeing what after the Dovetail Direct has in store for Wonders of Sodor. Because, like I said, this will be being posted on Tuesday, which is the day after the Dovetail Direct, which should have some news about Wonders of Sodor. Now, whether or not that does feature, like, any new DLC plans or something like that for Wonders of Sodor or not, it's going to be interesting. Because, like I said, it's going to be, like I said in the last video, I'm curious of whether or not they will introduce Henry or Edward, because they are kind of the iconic steam locomotives. They're they're kind of the more famous locomotives on the island of Sodor. In fact, Edward, like I said in the last video, he was critical to Thomas's stories. And then Henry, having his famous story arc of the Flying Kipper, being able to be recreated in the game already, you got two great opportunities to advertise characters. Then you have the options of an expansion of the map, which again has been thrown around as well. Not recently, of course, but like in a way where it's like, it's possible we could see a map expansion to Brindham Docks, which is a spot where Percy often operated in. And in fact, Percy, Thomas, and Toby were all seen rebuild it. Were part of the team that rebuilt Brindham Docks, I believe. At least I think Toby was involved with it. I know Thomas and Percy were later on. But yeah, it's very interesting. Kind of like speculating and wondering about what the hell? That is stopping right here. Stop. Oh, it's right. Okay, we're not at the stop yet, but we're close. Jesus Christ, that terrified me. I saw the point and like, oh, I'm gonna overrun that at high speed here. All right, come on, stop. Ease it. There we go. Yeah. All right, that's all the brakes. All right. Oh, here we go. Cutscene. All right, let's go. Let's see what's gonna happen next. I assume we're gonna see Percy in a Oh, here we go.
Meanwhile, Percy was making his last delivery. Jack Frost is not scary. Jack Frost is not scary. Jack Frost is not scary.
Oh, we're operating Percy now. Well, that's interesting. Oh, that's cool. Oh, game freaking out. Alright. So Percy's... what? Huh? Well, that's a first. Alright, reload from checkpoint. What happened there? Huh! Odd. I don't know what happened there. That's weird. I've never seen that, but that's an interesting... Whoops. Nope. We're backing up. There we go. Pass signal of danger. What? Okay. That's the second time that's happened. Huh. I'm gonna see something here. I'm gonna get out of Percy for a second and see if that actually triggers. I wonder if it's James. We're gonna wait a little bit. Because I know that was a bug on Train Sim World. Yep. It is James. Okay. That's funny. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys, but it turns out that it was not a bug at all, but instead me setting the throttle on James to go forward just as the transition happened. So essentially, I set him to notch 8 without 39 cars behind him, and ran the red block myself without even realizing it. So yeah, this is not a bug. It's actually just something I did stupidly. So that was a bug on Train Sim World, where if another locomotive across the map passed a signal at danger, it failed the scenario for you. That's hilarious. So you can't complete the scenario. The scenario is uncompletable. Huh. Interesting. Well, unfortunate, but oh well. Well, that's unfortunate. We cannot complete Jack Frost, which is it's really that's unfortunate, because that's one of the scenarios that is capable of. I might have to look into that. So yeah. All right, like and comment down below. Subscribe if you guys want more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.